Hello, all you YouTube viewers out there. Welcome to my beginner tips video on photo dust and scratch removal. Okay, now this video, or this YouTube video, will also be linked to my web page, which is My Family History Genealogy at rebelado.org. And the link you can see is on the screen somewhere up there. Is it up there? I don't know. Anyway, it's on the top right hand corner, I think. So anyway, I'm just not another pretty face here on YouTube, but I will be actually showing you some really practical tips here. I'm not an expert by no means, but I can show you the basics, what I know anyway. Anyway, a few years ago, I scanned all my mother's photo albums. That was about 10 years ago. I did some videos for their 60th wedding anniversary. And I think that as I scanned the pictures, some of them were not in that great of condition. They had a lot of dust and scratches on them, and I'm sure most of you, or I would think almost all of you out there that have done this, will know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, you don't have to, you could get somebody to pay somebody to do it for you, which would be very costly. But if you have a basic program, like I'm using Photoshop today, but if you have a program like Photoshop, you can do it yourself. So anyway, let's get to it, and I'll walk you through it and show you the basics. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, before we get going, I just wanted to show you the difference. There's the well, that was the before, and there's the after picture. You can see the dramatic change in both, especially by my on the right hand side by my brother, where I corrected the couch, the color there on the couch, and his face. Also all the lines and marks. There's the before, there's the after, before and after. Okay, so here we go. We're going to select the file, open, and select the file name that the photo that we want to restore. And now the next move would be to, you know, you can see all the work that we have to do, the dust and scratches around my sister's legs there. On my older sister, her pants has got a lot of scratches, and around my brother's face, and the curtains in behind, you can see all the marks in there. Okay, before we do anything, make any changes to this picture, what we want to do is go to your right hand side, and you want to make a duplicate layer of the original picture. So you're working with the duplicate, not with the original. Okay, now to take the majority of the dust and scratches, we go to Filter, Noise, and dust and scratches, and there you have the two different adjustment levels that you would move, the radius and the threshold sliders. So you move them around and you decide what looks the best between the two of them. You have to play around with those two sliders, and it'll get rid of the majority of the dust and scratches, the smaller ones, but after you can see, even when I do this, you'll see there'll still be some major scratches on the picture that have to be looked after manually. So anyway, now I'm just you put away the once you're satisfied, you go okay. Now you take a look at, there's still a lot of work to be done around my, again, or on my pants, and a few on the curtains and behind and there and around my brother's face. So to get rid of the rest of the dust and scratches, I use the spot healing dust tool. So you can see I'm working around my my black vest area there with the healing tool, and down along my on my pants there, just taking off the small spots with the dust or the with the spot healing tool, and down around where my on my sister's legs there's a few spots there. And it does take quite a while. It's very tedious. I mean, the more time, the more that you put into it, the better that it'll look. So, if you want to make it look really good, you just have to take your time with doing. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in because I want to show you what I'm going to do because there's a lot of marks around on my sister's face, lines. Uh, like I say, I'm not going to show you everything here because it would take a couple of hours to really do everything. But I'm just giving you an idea how it works, how to bring it up, and don't be afraid that if you do something and it doesn't look good, you can always go back and redo it again. So yeah, there was a lot of I noticed a lot of dust marks around her eyes and that, and I'm just going in there and cleaning it up and you know trying to make it look neat and clean. So okay, now we're on to like I was telling you earlier that I was gonna show you how I worked on there's a bad spot there on my brother's face and how I was able to bring that up. And I'm mainly right now just using the spot healing tool. I know people have probably other ways of doing it, but this is the way I do it, and it seems to work for me. So I try to get rid of any of the spots on his hair, the dust spots, and the scratches around his hairline. As you can see, there was, I don't know if maybe a bit of dirt or a fingerprint right there on his face. So it always seems like that's where the damage always is on the person's face. It can't be anywhere else. But and then I mean that's the most noticeable thing. So, and you just have to keep working with it. You have to be patient and just take your time. Keep working with it, and then, like I say, you're getting the idea of what I'm doing here, and that's just all with your spot healing tool. Again, still working around his hairline, getting all the different scratches, dust marks. Okay, so I'm just finishing up with the spot healing brush tool and just finishing around his the spots around his head and on his hairline there. And I'm going to switch over in a second here to the other tool that I use. It's called a healing brush tool. And what that tool does is that it clones. You clone you press the Alt key where there's a little star there. You press the Alt key, and then what that'll do is then you can go down wherever you've selected, and then you can clone that area. Uh, in a minute, I'll show you. We're going to zoom in on the picture, and then I can show you what I'm doing. Yeah, because there was that really, like I say, that one bad spot that basically there was no color there on the left side of my brother's face there. Okay, now I've zoomed in on the picture so you can see what I'm doing. I back with the just spot healing brush tool and just trying to get rid of some of the spots above his eyes. And then in a second, I'm going to go back to the healing brush tool. There we go. I've gone back to the healing brush tool, and then I'm gonna make the selection area a little smaller so I can work in where that white spot is there. So I've selected just right above there where it's similar shade. And after, I'm going to go back over that and clean it up. I'm just trying to get rid of most of the real bad areas. And with the healing brush tool, did you see I was able to get that? There was a spot there on his eyebrow that I cleaned up. Now I've gone back to the spot healing brush tool, and just trying to clean up some of those marks on his face. And around the eyes, there's that sort of white patch right there around the eyes. I mean, if you have to, sometimes you even have to zoom in closer so you can get a better view in what you're doing. Anyway, that pretty much finishes up this session of dust and scratch removal with Photoshop, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to do some more of these tips. I'm thinking of doing one on colorizing photos. And anyway, thanks for viewing.